time.
It's time.
And now, it's time for Herman and Sharron.
I love you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it so much. We're in our studio right here. It's a little different looking studio than we've had before, but we have the same knowledgeable doctor with us once again. And we're going to be doing 2 more shows. We did 2. Now we're going to do 2 more today, and then we've got 2 more coming up. So you don't want to miss any of Dr. Teitelbaum's interviews on the subject of taking care of this body of ours, because we need to understand what is going on when things happen to us. Sharron, once again, I want to read about Ali. She's from Texas, and I was just reading, my husband and I live on a 42-acre in northwest Texas.
Wow.
I mean, that's and they used to walk that whole thing. We used to walk a 1-mile circuit to the back of the property. I mean, that's pretty good. And she says we both have seen remarkable results from things that Dr. Teitelbaum has suggested. In only a week after beginning the vitamins and supplements, we both take energy revitalization system, among other things. I'm one who never took vitamins, and we are both 73 years young. I like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm 73 now. When these are shown, I'm 73. I've already had a birthday. Good to have you back.
Yes,
excellent,
so good
excellent.
to have you.
What a privilege. Now, you last night, this guy, when he leaves here, he goes to I guess you give seminars at
Different places.
different places. And so last night he was there till 10 p.m. Helping people.
Just taking questions, because usually we finish in the room and then they throw us out of there, and then we go to another place, and by the time they close that out, sometimes they throw us out of the hotel or whatever.
And sometimes they even follow you to your car, right?
Well, we're out in the parking lot. Usually, like last night, we had about 20 folks taking questions, finishing it in the parking lot until about 10. And
And
it's
he
fun.
enjoys it. Yeah,
it's fun.
It's fun.
It's a joy. It's really what it is.
Well, this guy has so many credentials, in case this is the first one you've watched. Dr. Teitelbaum is medical director of he's a nationally known bestseller author. He has been a physician for over 30 years and has treated numerous patients with his blend of traditional and alternative medicine. He has published several key research studies in cutting-edge treatment. Dr. Teitelbaum does frequent media appearances, which he's doing right here.
Right.
The poor guy has to live in Hawaii when he leaves here, including Good Morning America, CNN, Fox News,
Dr.
Oz's show, and Oprah and Friends. So you are
everywhere.
just writing all the time. You're writing books. People are using your name, because when I read nutritional books, I go, I know him. And so they use a quote from one of your books. How does that set with you? I mean, how does that feel, knowing that this gift that God has given you is being not only transmitted by you when you're talking and when you're writing, but other people are using it?
It makes me think of children on the shoulders of giants. And I remember coming all the way through the real giants in the field, Dr. Janet Travell, Dr. William Crook, Dr. Hugh Reardon, and a host of others. These were the real giants that did the heavy lifting and the work.
Wow.
And I get to take some of the stuff, and the people of my generation would take it and kind of weave it together and kind of take it a little bit to the next level. But to see it carrying on that way is really satisfying. But I also recognize I'm not the one who did this.
Now, how did you happen to settle in Hawaii?
Oh, my wife and I got married in Hawaii, and when child number 5 went off to college, we were kind of musing that, wouldn't it be nice if we could live in Hawaii? And then we both looked at each other and realized we can't.
Why not?
Because my office had been decentralized, my staff was living all over the country, because we do so much of it by internet, do so much by phone, different things like that, that didn't matter where my body was. And so we picked up and we left.
Let's open by you just kind of looking at that camera and telling them the information they can receive, because so many people would love to have help, They can't afford it. And you have made a venue that makes it possible.
Absolutely. So for those of you, whether you have anything from A to Z, do you have arthritis? We're going to teach you in the next couple episodes how to make that go away without the risks of medications. Do you have Alzheimer's? There's a good chance you or your loved one doesn't. We're going to teach you how to get your mind back. And if you're old enough that your kids are grown up and you lost your mind raising them, you deserve to get it back. We'll teach you how to do that. Do you have heart disease? We're going to teach you simple recipes that will really turn that around, give your heart the strength it needs. Whether you have heart failure, rhythm problems, angina, we're going to teach you how to get your heart back. And we're going to teach you how to get your tummy working again. If you have indigestion, that's not too much stomach acid, that's poor digestion. We'll teach you how to make your digestive system work and leave you feeling better. And along the way, other pains, fibromyalgia, fatigue, we got you all covered for all of that, so stay tuned.
And the information in the books and what we're talking about today, and even some of the supplements that we're going to be talking about, you have made it possible, if they put HS20, right, that they can get a discount.
Yes, the things we talk about are available. I don't private label stuff. I don't take money from any supplement or pharmaceutical companies. It's just a credibility issue, and it just leaves me feeling better about being able to give thumbs up or raspberries to things. The things we talk about, they're all available at the endfatigue.com website. And to make it even more affordable, we have some of the lowest prices you'll find anywhere. You get another 20% off by just putting where it asks, do you have a discount code? Put H for Herman, S for Sharron, and 20. HS20, get another 20% off.
right.
It'll put you below wholesale for a lot of things.
I want to get started here because there's so much information. All right, you were talking about digestion. I do have a digestion problem. So how can you help me with that?
Well, here's the story. The way doctors treat indigestion is to give you medications that block stomach acid.
Like Nexium.
Like Nexium,
Or whatever.
the purple pill, all those other guys.
Yeah. That if you live through it, it'll help you.
Well, they give you Motrin family medications, which give you ulcers that they give you the acid blockers for, which then cause osteoporosis. It gets crazy.
I know.
So here's the thing with digestion. To get digestion, you need stomach acid and enzymes, digestive enzymes. That's what your body uses to digest food. So we'll teach you how to get healthy digestion in a minute. But the first thing is, if you take somebody with a healthy stomach and no indigestion and put them on acid blockers, the research shows within a couple months they will be addicted to them. They can't stop them because they get rebound acid secretion, and now they get indigestion. Their stomach hurts.
right.
So this stuff is addictive. That's why you try to stop it and go, oh my God, and you think I must really need this. Wow. No, you're addicted. So there's simple things. There's a regimen that can be used. First of all, things like Tums or calcium antacids increase heart attack deaths 31%.
What did you say?
When you take plain calcium, and this is studies done for osteoporosis, for women with osteoporosis, plain calcium was associated with a 31% increased risk of heart attack. And if you think about people taking Tums or calcium chewable antacids, that can dwarf the other. So one of the things that I had them design was something called immediate heartburn relief, because if you take the calcium, add magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin K to that, now you've got something heart healthy. So when you need
Okay, now say that again, because I mean, I've always heard you need to have calcium, so get a calcium tablet.
No. Wow. That's not been the holistic doctor saying that. That's been standard medicine doctors saying that.
Yes.
Holistic doctors say we get plenty of calcium in the diet. The countries that have the highest calcium intake have the highest levels of osteoporosis, not the other way around.
Wow.
So, and what they're finding again, taking plain calcium is not a good idea. So you want to balance it with magnesium and vitamin D. And the same with the chewable antacids. Again, the immediate heartburn relief is a very simple way to do that. You get it at any health food store. And now you have a healthy chewable antacid to use.
Let me hold that up again.
When you need something right now.
You know, that's something that we all, I mean, quite often, whether it's a regular thing or not, you will have heartburn.
Yeah. How about Alka-Seltzer or something like
I
that?
think Alka-Seltzer's okay.
Well, that's good news.
Thank you. Because I was ready to clean my cabinet out.
No, the Alka-Seltzer can actually be a good thing. So for the immediate burning, the immediate heartburn relief, to help heal the stomach so you can get off the antacids, Basically licorice and gut soothe
Yes.
is the way to do that. And if you don't like the taste of, I'm not talking about licorice candy, but
Gut
regular
soothe.
licorice is pretty heavy for a taste. The gut soothe, as effective as Tagamet in head-on studies, the licorice. So it'll help heal the stomach over a month. You can use advanced heartburn rescue for the month or two also. Within a month or two, your indigestion will be gone.
Wow.
You'll be able to wean off the acid blockers. And then you can set these aside. And then what you do is you use plant-based digestive enzymes.
Wow.
Any plant-based digestive enzyme is going to be okay, as long as it's not animal-based, 100% plant-based. The animal-based enzymes don't work well for digestion.
I was just reading our lady here from Texas. She says she TiVos the shows. So what I like about that, the reason I'm holding these up, because if you TiVo,
Yeah.
you can freeze that baby,
Yeah.
and you can go over there and write
That's
down.
what you need to do, yeah.
Because that's the reason I hold these up, is because you can actually go over now and write down the name, because it's really neat today how you can, there's no excuse for not having good information. Wonderful.
And I want to say for the gal in Texas, too, we had talked before when I had the chronic fatigue syndrome in medical school, the fibromyalgia, and I had to drop out of school because I couldn't function. And since I was paying my own way, I was homeless and on the road. Austin, Texas is my adopted hometown.
Wow.
And so I love Austin, I love Texas. But I still remember when I was going through in my old 65 Dart, which was on its last legs or tires.
You still got it? Do you still own it?
Oh no, it's a cube of metal somewhere in Tulsa.
I thought maybe you kept it as a collectible.
No. But there's a family out in West Texas in the old Big Thicket area. And I met them, they put me up, and I was able to stay at their house. And I remember Smokey Dog, the dog would lie down on my feet. I'd sleep in front of the fireplace there, and they'd take us around in the backwoods, and they're just sweet, sweet, sweet as could be.
Everybody says Texas people are like that. They say in restaurants, you hear them talking about the Lord, and you see them praying, and they're cordial and whatever. It's like another part of the world.
They have a great big heart, but you don't want to mess with them.
That's right.
I like that.
All right, Alzheimer's. So many times, in fact, just Sunday, we were going down to Sarasota, and there was a silver alert looking for somebody, some senior that went out and got in the car and they couldn't find him. Alzheimer's. What do you do for that?
Well, first of all, it's important to realize that most people who have been given the diagnosis of Alzheimer's don't actually have Alzheimer's. They have other things that are often reversible. But the doctor, given 6 minutes, you come and you say, oh, a little confusion. Here's one of two medications that I consider near useless, and out the door. And what you find, and there was a study, a recent study actually out of Hawaii, where they did autopsies on people with Alzheimer's. The majority of people did not have Alzheimer's.
Wow.
And they had reversible stuff.
Well, now,
And
we
it's-
never called it Alzheimer's back when my grandmother had dementia. Didn't call it Alzheimer's, right? It's not the same thing,
They're
is
not
it?
the same thing. Because the thing is, if you just have confusion, loss of function, you'll notice that some days the people will remember the kids' names and be able to drive, and other days, no idea. So it's not like their brain is totally going out from one day to the next. It's just that a tiny difference in function. 2 to 5% change in function is the difference between being able to drive versus not recognizing your kids. So if you can give the brain a little tune-up, that's enough to keep it functioning another 10, 20, 30 years and doing just fine. So here's how you tune up the brain.
Another 10 to 20 years.
30 years sometimes. It will keep the mind going because you can go ahead. It just takes a little bit of increase in function, and it's not hard to give that little bit of a tune-up and get the brain firing at a higher efficiency.
Okay, what do you suggest?
Okay, number one, good nutritional support, especially things like B12, which the seniors are often low on. But let me make it simple. Instead of listing 50 nutrients, take the vitamin powder. 1/2 to 1 scoop a day. It's not expensive, it tastes good, it's easy. It will cover virtually all of the nutritional needs that are being missed from the diet.
Wow.
So you start with that.
So they can go to that website.
They can go to the website at endfatigue.com and just get the Energy Revitalization System vitamin powder and 1/2 to 1 scoop a day. And they will find they feel much better and their brain will be working better. Number two, sleep. Now, a lot of the elderly don't need as much sleep, and I define elderly arbitrarily as 15 years older than whatever I happen to be.
I love that.
But if you're not able to get enough sleep, if you feel great, the amount of sleep you're getting is fine. So if you feel well, don't worry about it. It's good. But if you're feeling poorly, your brain is not working well, and the rest, there's a nice, simple herbal mix called the Revitalizing Sleep Formula. You don't have to worry about falling down on it. You don't have to worry about addiction or anything like that.
You can drive?
You can drive the next day. You can do what you want, and when you want it or not. So you just take 2 to 4 of these at bedtime. Even 1 for a lot of people, and leave you sleeping like a puppy. Wow. Nice, simple diet. And a little bit of melatonin, just 0.5 milligram of melatonin. So those 2 will take care of the sleep things.
Do you have melatonin?
I don't have that one here. That's easy to find in any health food store.
It is. Expensive?
Oh, yeah. No.
They're cheap.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Wow.
So simple things. Thyroid and hormonal disorders. Even if the tests are normal, tired, achy, weight gain, cold intolerant, signs of low thyroid. Lateral eyebrows, the outer third of the eyebrows thinning, signs of low thyroid. And a little bit of thyroid hormone, even if the tests are normal, can help a lot. And in men, low testosterone. Men go through menopause, just like women go through menopause. And the studies show that the low testosterone contributes to a higher risk of dementia. So I'm not talking about this bodybuilder poison. I'm talking about the bioidentical, natural, just low doses, not super high doses, which are crazy to use, but just 25 to 50 milligrams in a man will often bring back the mental function. If the decline was stepwise,
Give me that label again.
25 to 50 milligrams of testosterone in men.
And that's the label.
It's just, you can use the standard prescriptions like Androgel or Testim. I like to use ones made by compounding holistic pharmacies.
You have to have a doctor's
You
prescription.
need a doctor's prescription for that.
For this.
Okay. All right.
But another simple
Yeah,
point.
I don't go to doctors, so.
You got a friend.
That's the reason I keep asking these questions.
So, and the book, the Real Cause, Real Cure book goes through all that.
Yeah.
But another important point, if your family member had a stepwise progression in loss of function, where they're doing okay, and then all of a sudden, a day or 2 later, you notice, God, there's a big drop. And then they go on a couple months, and then another big drop. That usually represents mini strokes. And the treatment for that is 1 aspirin a day.
Really?
Will often help recovery.
Do you know sometimes whether you're having them or you don't even know you have
The
them?
family members are more likely to. But if you notice their function's going down, just the things we talked about. But one other really important thing, there's a number of things. The medications. A lot of our elderly are on 10, 15 different medications.
Yes, they do.
If you take a strapping football player and put them on those medications and put them behind the wheel of a car, they're going to get pulled over for DWI.
Yeah.
And what you see over and over is many of these medications are not needed anymore. So you have to find a doctor to work with you who'll take the time to wean them off. And often the Alzheimer's goes away when these excess medications are removed.
Okay. It just popped in my head, all these medications. I know it is, all of a sudden you start, like I'm like on 2 right now. It scares me every time I get on one. But like cholesterol medicine, is that so important that everybody is on cholesterol medicine now?
Well, let me give you the importance of cholesterol medications. How would I put it? $29 billion a year scam is the term that comes to mind. If you look at the cholesterol medications, in people with known heart disease, and we move to heart disease next, those with known heart disease, it's a lifesaver. If you have a history of a heart attack or angina or a stroke, stay on the statin medications. But if you're just taking it because you have a high cholesterol on the blood test, and you don't have known heart disease, the studies show that it decreases the risk of heart attack 1.2%. To put that in perspective, eating chocolate is 25 times more effective at lowering a heart attack. Owning a cat is associated with a 30-fold lower risk relative to the cholesterol medications. And optimizing thyroid, even if it's in the normal range, 69% lower risk of heart attack. So it's a negligible thing. And if you look at the Cochrane review, the most respected standard of practice review in medicine, you can see where they review all the studies and they try to graciously say that it is crazy to be using statins to treat cholesterol if you don't have heart disease. But that's where most of it is being given for. And it is so profitable.
Is that addictive too, statin?
No, it's so profitable. Now they want to give it to children, cats, and put it in your food. It's nuts. And it causes muscle pain that they downplay. And I've seen a lot of people where it's triggered their fibromyalgia. It causes enzyme depletion of something called coenzyme Q10.
Yeah, because it says muscle aches. It'll cause muscle aches.
Yeah.
So.
And the doctor say, oh no, the CPK blood test is fine. It's not that. Yeah, it is that. And if people are taking it, they need to take coenzyme Q10 with it. But better yet, they should talk to their doctor about getting off the statin. And they need the doctor has been so brainwashed by the drug companies. You're going to have to find a holistic doctor.
Yeah, that's true, because my doctor just said to me, I believe in pharmaceutical. The other is hoaxes. It's just charlatans out there selling you products.
Yep, and we don't have the natural companies. It's funny, I just remember in practice, you'd have these really beautiful drug reps. They're hiring cheerleaders now.
What?
They were hiring cheerleaders, the drug companies, to be the drug reps. And they go in and being geeky doctors, and the drug company reps fawn all over you, and it's like, yeah, I want to sell your drugs. It's just crazy. And, there's a lot of times medications really can be life-saving. But that's not what decides in this country. What decides in this country if a medication is going to be used is if it is profitable. If it is, they will teach your doctor and brainwash them and brainwash you. What you need to look at is the science and what really works. And that has nothing to do with pharmaceutical industry. It's a slick advertising and profits. And they're not bad people. They're really sweet people. But it's not their job to go out and get everybody well. It's their job to make money, and that's what they're doing.
Sometimes people that are well educated, especially doctors and so forth, and they've studied so many years, they figure that's a leg up to anything you might know to rebut what they're saying.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Ask them, where did they get their information? They'll say, well, I got it from the journals. And ask them, take a look at that journal, and where's the advertising coming from? Do you see any advertisements for golf clubs or Lexuses? No, those companies wouldn't pay that kind of money for that kind of advertising. Why? Because doctors don't have money to spend? No. The reason these ads are in the journals is that buys access to the journals. And therefore, what's in the journal will reflect the advertising. So the journals are paid for by the drug companies. The studies are paid for by the drug companies, which show usually they're not reliable when the drug company pays for it. You have the conferences that are put on by esteemed professors who are on the payroll of the drug companies. And as I mentioned, God bless them, they have the good-looking cheerleader drug reps at the end of the day coming in, giving them studies. So that's where they're getting the information from. And sometimes they go to the American College of Physicians or American Diabetes Association conferences, which the research shows are basically paid for. The people on the committees that make the guidelines are on the payroll of the drug companies. All this information that they think they've picked up that's so scientific, simply slick advertising.
Now the FDA, I don't know if anybody's ever done a research on how many people have died from products that the FDA has approved.
Well, 200,000 Americans a year, on estimate, conservatively die from medications.
FDA approved.
200,000
medications.
And it costs how much to get one approved by the FDA?
It costs about $800 million to develop a medication and put it through the FDA process.
But the thing of it is, they'd never say that the medication killed the patient.
It's not reported as a medication killing. They died from a bleeding ulcer. Oh, by the way, they're on Motrin.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, if you look at, for example, Vioxx, which was an arthritis medication, and that got pulled off the market. They found that it was doubling or tripling heart attacks. They put it to the FDA. The researchers said this has to be pulled off the market. And the committee of the FDA said no. Well, when you went back and looked at the committee, about 40%, 50% of the committee members were on the payroll of the drug companies making that or similar medications. The people not on the payroll voted unanimously to pull it off the market. The people on the payroll voted unanimously to leave it on the market. And another 139,000 people had heart attack, strokes, who died from the Vioxx before the evidence was so overwhelming that finally they couldn't deny it anymore.
Now it's amazing, heart disease is the #1 killer, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's amazingly treatable.
And is it inherited? Your dad had heart disease, your mom had heart disease?
My dad had a heart attack at 46. My brothers and I are still alive. The risk is inherited, but it doesn't mean you have to turn that switch on and
accept
get it.
Okay, what do you do?
So here's what you do if you have heart disease. So if you have heart failure, abnormal rhythms, angina, take a piece of paper or pen, or you can get the book Real Cause, Real Cure. And you can get it, that's not in bookstores or Amazon yet until August, but you can get on the website now.
It's that new, and if you see HS20, That's a discount that you can have if you call during this program.
Okay.
Yep. And if you go ahead and you put it on, you just go on the website or you call, just tell them HS20. That's the discount code. But here's what you need to do. You don't have to buy the book. Just take a pen and paper. Number one, get something called Ribose. I like Corvalin is the one that I use. Wonderful for heart disease. There's one study that's now in about the 300th patient where they had doing heart bypass, and instead of the usual 5% death rate, they've had no deaths.
Wow.
Just giving this before and after surgery. For heart failure in general, you want to take 1 scoop or 5 grams 3 times a day, mix it with water, take the vitamin powder, 1/2 scoop to 1 scoop a day, put them all together, add water.
You can mix these?
Yeah, they're perfect. This is my morning energy drink.
Wow.
If you wonder where I get the energy to be traveling all over the world, doing all these things and feeling great, I do a vitamin powder and a scoop of Ribose each morning. That's my energy drink.
Good for you.
And that gives real energy instead of these energy loan shark drinks. So you do that, you get the coenzyme Q10, which is hiding around here somewhere. But the coenzyme Q10, 200 to 400 milligrams. And then you get magnesium orotate. And there'll be one other thing, acetyl-carnitine. But these are all on the website, they're all on the book. If you go to the website, just click on, go to endfatigue.com, click on health, click on heart conditions. It's all written out, simple to do.
Yeah.
Do it for 6 weeks. Within 6 weeks, you're going to find, in most cases, that you're able to be up, moving around more, and you're feeling a lot better.
That's what I like, because you don't stay on it for the rest of your life. You stay on it till your symptoms go away.
Same as with the pain treatments. You stay on it, give it 6 to 12 months,
Yeah.
and then you can usually lower the dose and do it as needed. And your body will tell you at that point.
Aline said in a
good.
week she knew the difference.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's one fellow who was in Hawaii. He was an engineer. His kids were Mensa. His wife brought him to Hawaii to die because the doctor said, you had heart failure, you're going to be dead in 3 months. He said, you're not freezing here in Alaska. And I met him in Hawaii, and I told him, no, you do this. And I got an email from him, subject, and it was a couple of years later, you saved my life.
Wow.
Wow.
He was out within a couple of weeks, he was walking miles.
Wow. We come back on part 2. We're going to be talking about chronic inflammation, and any direction that Dr. Teitelbaum wants to go, he will go. That's what's so great about this. But let me tell you something. This is the greatest book, even though his books are absolutely fabulous. This is the greatest book you'll ever read. Jesus Christ is the answer to every need you may have. Trust Him. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'm Bill Malone of Christian Television Network's Plan Giving Department. Did you know that a will is one of the most important documents that you will ever sign? Yet a majority of Americans die each year with no will, and so the government receives a large percentage of their estate in taxes and fees. We can help you eliminate this loss with our free Guide to Wills and Trusts booklet. Call the number on your screen or go to our website for further information. Your long-range plans deserve special attention.
Watch Life Today, weekdays as James and Betty Robison provide real answers to real problems through compelling guests and miraculous testimonies. Witness God's love through inspiration, hope, and life. Join us in making a real difference in our world by changing countless lives and building stronger families. Don't miss Life Today with James and Betty Robison, weekdays on this station.
30 years ago, I was sitting in front of the television set in my home, and a word was spoken that forever altered my life. And that's exactly what happens every day whenever CTN programming is going into people's homes. And that's why it's so important that as believers and as people who really want to change lives, we gather together and give of our resources so that CTN can remain on the air.
We are totally unaware that our food supply, medications, and some